for tuning in to Coder Convos. Catch up with us at coderconvos.com or email us at coderconversations@gmail.com. I'm your host, Kevin.
And I'm Brian Russick, professional drummer, drum teacher based out of the Suffolk County, Long Island, New York area. If you'd like to book a lesson with me sometime, I could be found at brianrussick.com.
Awesome. And then joining us today is Katie Leigh, voiceover actress for Nickelodeon, Disney, and much more. Welcome to the show, Katie.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, so it's a pleasure having you on the show. Looking at your background there, it looks like, are those a couple of series that you've worked on that you've actually contributed
Yeah,
voice
these
to?
are actually, this one's a poster, Darkwing Duck poster. This is a placemat from the Disney afternoon. Yeah, so I worked on the gummy bears, and I might have done a tailspin, but just not a regular. I was Hugger Buttlefoot on Darkwing Duck.
Oh, wow.
And Sunny Gummy on the gummy bears. Yeah.
How did it feel working on like such prominent series? Like these are well-known series.
Well, they weren't well known when I did it, you know.
Okay.
They're well known now.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
You know, it's great. I mean, no, I didn't know how good it was. I just, started watching Darkwing Duck a little while back when it came out on DVD, and I think that's really an excellent show. It's really well written.
Oh, yeah.
And when I worked on the gummy bears, it was just me working with the voices of my childhood. So it was incredible. I worked with June Foray and Bill Scott and Paul. God, my brain. I told you I was really tired. Paul Winchell. Just people that I grew up listening to. So it was super fun.
That's awesome.
Well, awesome. Yeah. So like for you growing up, what were some of the cartoons or some of the series that really like inspired you to get into voice acting?
I don't think any of them inspired me to get into voice acting, but I used what I had in my head growing up for when I did get into voice acting. I mean, I loved, Fractured Fairy Tales and Rocky and Bullwinkle, and I used to watch Mighty Mouse. Davy and Goliath, Gumby and Pokey. What other cartoons did we watch? Funny ones. But Beanie and Cecil was a favorite. I don't even know if you guys even know what those are.
Or what about like Doug, Nickelodeon?
Oh, honey, I'm 66 years old. I did not watch Doug growing up.
So
I was wondering if you had worked on it.
Oh, did I work on Doug?
Yeah.
No, I did not work on Doug.
Okay.
I actually didn't do that much at Nickelodeon. I did cartoon I did where I got to play this little short called The Tantrum, and I played Mark Hamill's wife. So that was fun. The show called Get Blake, that was on Nickelodeon, but in some other countries, I think. You can look. I played a few characters on Get Blake. I'm trying to think what else I did. Oh, well, I know why, because Nickelodeon has studios and Klasky Chupo has studios. So when I did some stuff for Rugrats or As Told by Ginger, it was recorded at the Klasky Chupo studios, but it was aired on Nickelodeon. So, yeah, those are Nick shows. You're right.
Awesome. Who did you play on Rugrats?
Not a lead character. I don't know, a kid riding a tricycle.
Random kid.
A random kid, as usual. That's what I normally do. So, right now, this garden cartoon, Butch Hartman has a show called The Garden Cartoon, and I've done a few episodes of that. That's on his own app.
Very cool.
And hopefully, as he builds his empire, we've done some pilots. Maybe I'll be in some new shows of his. I've also been working on a new show called I'm Good, which We've actually recorded 2 seasons, and I don't think it's been picked up by a network yet. So,
Wow.
yeah, so lots of things happen when you don't see it, and once it's out there, it's like old news to the people who were doing
It's kind of like you don't know what's going to get popular. You don't know what's going to be aired on TV.
No. No, I also work on a radio program called Adventures in Odyssey, and I don't know if you're familiar with that, but I've been playing the same character for 38 years.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
wow.
That's been doing really well.
That's
So for
awesome.
our audience sake, can you tell us a little bit about that show?
Adventures in Odyssey, it's a faith-based program. It's produced by Focus on the Family. We started it in 1987, and
That's when
it's
I was
still
born.
on the air.
I was
Yeah.
born in 87.
While you were watching Doug, we were
Oh,
recording
I was
Adventures
watching
in Odyssey.
Exactly.
Well, my son was born in 87 too, so that's
Oh.
okay.
So like growing up, I know a lot of people that do voiceovers and stuff, like they kind of have like some characters in their mind. Like what were some of the like predominant characters that you had in your mind as you were growing up? Like people have like 2 or 3 different voices that they're really good at.
You know what? I think I'm glad you brought it up because it's not normal to impersonating someone else's character is not a way to have a career in voiceover. You need to be able to create your own characters or use
Okay.
what you can do to help inform other characters. You don't, especially if that person's still alive, you don't all of a sudden take their job away because you can do their character. It doesn't work like that. I think it's more important to have a cartoon sort of sensibility, a cartoon sense of humor, to know what's funny, not say, "Oh, I can do Mickey Mouse's voice, so I'm gonna go into voiceover." It's not like
Right.
that. It's little v, big A, as my friend Jess Harnell says. Little v, big A, voice acting. It's more about the acting than the
Yeah.
Okay, well, that makes sense. So yeah, can you give us a few more tips on somebody if they want to break into voice acting? What are some of the misconceptions and how would
Well,
you?
that's one of them, and also thinking you can make a living doing animation.
Mm,
That's one of them
That's
too.
another one of them. Yeah.
Well, you guys, you have to understand, when I started over 40 years ago, there were 3 networks, 4 networks if you
Okay.
include PBS. If you got a series, it ran 3 times. Well, 4 times throughout the year. You do 13 episodes, and they'd reruns, right?
Reruns. Yeah.
And you get paid every time it's aired.
All right.
Whole pay structure and everything is different now. The networks don't have Saturday morning cartoons. If you do a show, it might be streaming,
Oh,
which
wow.
is a whole different thing. It's cable. 75% of the work isn't union anymore. So it's just not, if you want to get into voiceover, it's great. I mean, there's video games. Some people, if you become successful in video games, you can make a lot of money doing,
Yeah.
but you have to do a lot of different things.
yeah, something I've kind of seen about voice acting, especially in video games, is like they pretty much have like 3 or 4 like go-to people, and they keep using them over and over. So,
And that's the case, even when I was coming up. If you work for a director and he likes you and you work well together, he's going to try to get you on his next show, our production company. Most of my stuff I did, the bulk of my career was done at Marvel Studios, which doesn't exist anymore. And Disney bought what was left. Disney archived a whole bunch of the shows that I'm talking about. Well, they finally put Gummy Bears and Darkwing Duck on Disney Plus.
Okay.
Muppet Babies, I did. They've locked
Muppet
away.
Babies.
They created their own. Yeah, I was the original voice of Rolf the dog, Baby
Muppet
Rolf.
Baby.
Yeah.
Muppet Baby. That was a good show.
So yeah, we did that for 8 years, but you can't find it on TV now. And no one's gonna pay me residuals. So, right? So even the characters that I created, I don't get to do them again.
So, what would you say is your favorite voice or favorite character, in your entire career? What would that be?
Well, my favorite one is playing Connie Kendall on Adventures in Odyssey because it just has been played all around the world and it's been a
Mhm.
blessing to so many families. But, I was a big Muppet fan, so far out. Playing Baby Rolf was pretty awesome. Animal was the drummer, but I played the piano. Yeah, those are two of my favorites.
So like
Awesome.
which role would you say stretched you the most? Like which one was like most outside of your typical toolkit?
Probably Rolf, Baby Rolf. Yeah, I mean, nobody ever thinks I did him. It's just not normal. It's not that normal for me to do that, but he's a character that I grew up watching when I was a little girl on TV in black and white on this show called The Jimmy Dean Show. I knew who he was, and I really related to him. And the director said I was one of the few people who even knew who Rolf was when we did the auditions. So I could relate to him, but it wasn't a typical voice. Usually I do little boys and little girls, but not, that kind of character. And I was just really fortunate. I'm a huge Jim Henson fan.
Yeah. I mean, what would you say was the biggest moment in your career? Like, when did you feel like you really took off with voice acting?
When I could quit my day job.
Yeah. So when was that? When was that?
Well, when I came to LA to get into the business, I said I'd give myself 2 years, and
Mhm.
I was very fortunate. Within 2 years, I got one series. My first series did not go past one season. And then the second one was Dungeons and Dragons, is
Okay.
a show that I did, and that was good, and we made decent money back then. So I do some commercials, a lot of radio commercials, local stuff, the cartoons, which, with that kind of residual structure, and you look back in 1980 something, right? If you did, even if we made, I don't know what we made, like $400 an episode times 13 times 4, you're still at around $25,000 for the year, right? So that's
Oh,
decent. That's one show, but
yeah.
it's not like that anymore.
So what's
Yeah.
it like?
It's like no residuals. It's most of the work is buyouts. They'll pay you.
Jeez. No
We also
residuals.
we also would get paid, well, they would hire you back then if you could do 3 distinct characters. That was really important
Mhm.
so it's not just one character that you do. You can do 3 different characters. And you just get paid for 3 voices for the price of 1. And then we had a strike, and then it was 2 voices for the price of 1 and third voice. But you also got paid per episode. Nowadays, you could go to the studio and they'd say, "We're booked you for 4 hours," and they might record 4 episodes in 4 hours, but pay you for 1 session.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm straightening this out for you guys so you know the truth. I'm
That's
a truth teller.
so what you're saying is it's pretty rough if someone wants to get into voice acting, in 2025.
Well, if you're talking about, like I said, strictly cartoons, there's lots of things you can
Cartoons.
do. I
Yeah.
do other work. I do character work. Oh, you just reminded me. I have a job that just came in today for a game, an app, a
Oh,
kids
nice.
app. I do educational recordings, Khan Academy Kids, e-learning things. So those things I do usually have characters in them that I play that, you know, um, games, toys, there's commercials, obviously. You can do phone answering, stuff
Mhm.
if they're not using AI these days. Movies. I worked a lot on movies. I did a lot of dubbing in my career, a lot of
Ah,
looping.
okay.
If you've seen Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, I'm the
Yeah.
voice of the Maharaja.
Oh wow.
Yes. Please listen. It's the tunnel on the left.
And what did that role pay? Was that good back then?
Oh, that's a good question too, and I don't mind sharing. No, it paid me for one day. It was
Wow.
you're a day
Uh,
player, but you still get residuals because it was union work. But I don't know, might have paid $800. I don't know. But over time, you make little trails.
right.
So, because I was dubbing, I wasn't the main character. They wanted to revoice him. So, voice actors are day players. We don't get, even when you're on a series, they don't guarantee you episodes. It's just that if you're in the script, they call you, you go in and you work.
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean it seems like nowadays there's more variety, like more maybe more a wider range of opportunities, but maybe it's less stable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and people can work from anywhere. You don't have to be in Hollywood anymore to work on a show. I mean, look at us. We're doing a show and we're in 3 different parts of the country, right?
Yeah, where are you based out of?
In LA.
Oh, LA, nice. I lived out there for about 10 years. I was in Hancock Park for the
Oh, that's
majority
a
of.
nice area.
Yeah, Hancock Park, Larchmont Village. I used to go there
Beautiful.
a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful area.
That's very cool. Paul Frank lives around there. I did a cartoon, Julius and Friends, with him. Yeah, that's a great area. So yeah, I mean, there's work for voiceover for sure, but you just can't. Like people who think, "Oh, I love anime and I just want to work in anime." Well,
Yeah.
you could maybe get $200, maybe $400 for a session. One day? I mean, how you can't
Wow.
really you gotta do other stuff. If you to do a show that really takes off and people want your autograph and they want you to go to a Comic-Con, you can make money there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem like if you do get that big show, then you gain notoriety, and then you kind of grow a fan base, and it snowballs. But I know like not everybody necessarily gets that. So
No, and it takes time. Like, your eyes lit up, oh, Darkwing Duck, right? Well, how old were you when you watched it?
probably in my like 9, 10, something
Yeah,
around
so
there.
you're
Yeah.
not gonna pay me for an autograph. I have to wait till you grow up and
Yeah.
decide you want it. So that's,
Right.
a big time frame there, right? My
Yeah.
audience might be your age or older, right? So if I'm lucky enough to be alive and it's not something that's, necessarily predictable. If you become, popular with someone who's, you know, an older crowd, an older audience, it's a different story, but most of the stuff I do is for kids, and
Yeah.
that's why Voice of Your Childhood is my website, because a lot of people will say,
Mhm.
"You're the voice of my childhood." I'm like, "That's great. It's so nice to meet you. I'm glad I'm still here to say
Yeah,
hi."
How
absolutely.
does it feel like just being recognized? Because obviously they're not seeing your face, but I guess they look you up and they're like, "Oh, okay, you're such and such."
Well, yeah, because that's the other thing. When we started, there was no internet. There was no social
Yeah.
media. We were just anonymous people who went to work, and it was great. Nobody really knew what we looked like. So even when I go to Comic-Cons, like you probably never thought of Darkwing Duck until I brought it up right now. You're not like looking to see
Right.
No, I
who
haven't thought
did
of it.
this, right?
Haven't
So
thought
if
of it in a
I
long
go to a
time.
convention, a lot of times people think I drew the pictures that I'm autographing. They don't know by looking at me, it doesn't do anything. But
Yeah.
then when
Mm,
that's who you are. Oh, okay. Then it all comes back to
I
them.
see.
So we're in this very sort of vague sort of realm as far as actors go.
Would you say that you're happy that you're sort of viewed as anonymous and, people don't recognize your face
Mhm.
if you go out to the grocery store or whatever,
Well,
is
that
that
used to be a big plus, but now we
yeah.
kinda have to be on social media so people know we're not
Mm.
dead,
Yeah, right.
and But that was the best part, you could have this I could work with lots of stars, people, celebrities. I love my work. Nobody else, but then you go grocery shopping, nobody, knows who you are. So it was a wonderful
It's
time.
unique. Yes, that's unique.
I worked with so many people that I admired. I just feel so blessed.
Yeah, that has to be amazing to keep that anonymity because like fame isn't for everybody. You think you want it until you get it, and now it's like you go out, you're constantly harassed, you have no privacy.
No, nobody really wants fame. They just want money.
Yeah.
I think some people want to be seen, though. Some people want to be on TV, have their face everywhere.
Yeah, no, they do. I'm sure they do. But you think about it, for an actor, that's just a sign of success that I booked a job.
Yeah.
It's not easy. I was just listening to an interview. I got all fuzzy. Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
why
Where'd you
am I
go?
all fuzzy? I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Stop being fuzzy.
There goes technology again.
I was listening to an interview with now what were we just talking about, being noticed?
Oh, being anonymous, being able to go to the grocery store, no one knows, who you are.
Yeah. Oh, so it was an interview with Pedro Pascal on Fresh Air, and he worked in theater for 15 years as an actor before he got booked to do Game of Thrones, which gave
Wow.
him notoriety. It's not, it takes a lot of work to make it, you just, it's like, sports figures. They might be on a team. They might be on the B team, or they're just, they're people don't really know who they are. They're making enough money to pay their rent, but they aren't famous ball players, right?
Yeah, I mean, one guy I met in LA who I don't know if you would say he was famous then, but he certainly had made a lot of money with movies. He told me, he said, because I'm a musician, he said, "Look, it took me 20 years to break into acting." And he's
Yeah.
like, with music, it's probably similar. He said the main thing, I won't mention his name, but he said the main thing, someone needs to take a shot on you. Someone needs to take a
You
chance
need a
on
champion.
recommending. Yes, you need a champion.
Yeah.
So that's what he said. And I was like, sounds about right.
Well, and that's why so much of any business is networking and making friends, and seeing how you can serve other people selflessly to develop a reputation of having integrity and being a good person, so people want to be around you because there are plenty of people to choose from. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, there's like so many people that's competing for the same role. What makes you be the one that gets chosen?
Right. And you got to not take it personally. And in any
Right.
acting thing, and in voice acting, we don't even have our faces. So, if we were playing similar characters in a TV show, nobody would not know who each one of us is, because they can see
Yeah.
us. But if it was just our voices, you have to make sure that each voice is distinct, so when people hear it, they don't get confused who's talking, right? So that's even a little bit harder to, usually there's only one or two women in a show, so it's usually male heavy.
Is it still that way?
I don't know, you tell me.
I mean, I would think it's changed a little bit.
Probably a little bit, yeah. And the other thing is, when my career, I've done a lot of kids' voices, but nowadays
Yeah.
studios aren't afraid to hire kids. Before they didn't want to,
Oh.
so that was an advantage I had. I could play a boy or I could play a girl, didn't matter, but now they want real kids. So
Yeah.
I've just lost a lot of
That's
opportunities that way.
that's
So
tough. You had mentioned, I think, that you teach as well.
Uh-huh.
How'd you get
Yeah,
into that?
I coach. Well, people ask me to, so I just started sharing. I work with the Global Voice Acting Academy for people who are interested in voiceover. And I don't, I try to discourage people in a way, but just tell them the truth. So they're not you know, but the Global Voice Acting Academy is a great um, entity online where people can learn all kinds of skills for voiceover and get help making demos because you have to have a demo. It's like a
Right.
resume. So they're really good. So I'm one of their coaches and I'll coach privately as well. Sometimes if you go to my website, katieleigh.com, sign up for my newsletter. If I decide to do a class, I'll post it out there and people come and I'll teach radio drama or creating characters or ensemble acting for animation because most people don't get a chance to work with other actors anymore like I did. We'd all be in the studio. Now so many people are recording from home, and
Yeah.
so to have the experience of working with other actors is really important to get that sense of timing and, imagining how people might read their lines so you know how to respond with your lines, right? So I do that next October, a year from now. We're going to have a cruise. It's a sort of a Christian type radio drama type cruise leaving from Texas. We're leaving from Galveston, sail
oh
and
wow.
sing. Yeah, sail and sing cruises. And we're going to we're going to perform,
Oh, wow.
like live radio drama on the cruise and go down to Mexico and see the Mayan ruins and
Oh, wow.
have little workshops on the cruise. So if anybody's interested in that, I think it's on my website. I better make a note, make sure I put it on there so there's a link.
So just to make sure people going to the right place, KATIELEIGH.com. Is that
Yes,
correct?
sir. Yep.
Great.
And Instagram, they can see stuff I've posted. Katie Leigh VO is my Instagram.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So it seems like faith is like a central part of your life. Am I correct?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Like, has your faith ever caused you to turn down roles? Like, I don't
Oh,
want.
yeah.
Mm,
I bet.
Yes. Well, I mean, and part of it isn't just my faith, but it's my audience. Because I've worked on Adventures in Odyssey for 38 years, I don't want to play a character who swears unnecessarily or is just ugly. I just don't it doesn't appeal to me. I'd rather do things that are uplifting. And there's always bad guys in stories, but it
Sure.
depends how it's written, right? I mean, I've played some icky characters, but their language wasn't offensive.
Yeah.
It just depends. So, yeah, it is important to me because I don't know, I don't necessarily I think actors should be able to do whatever they want to do, and they're actors, and it's hard to get work. And if you get a job and you're going to get paid for it, do it. And people shouldn't be so judgmental. I think the world is w- just so excited to judge, which is very disappointing. I think that's not fair. If you do a good job acting, people shouldn't think, oh, it's I always a lot of parents will call me because their kids have grown up listening to Odyssey, and they
Yeah.
wanna go to Hollywood, and they wanna be actors, and the parents don't want them to go because it's so horrible out there." And I say, "Look, if your kid wanted to be a plumber, would you tell them, 'Okay, you can only work for a Christian company and only go to Christian homes and help those people with their pipes?' No, you do your work, right? And you do it well."
Yeah.
So, I've turned down things that didn't appeal to me personally, that I didn't feel good doing. And I just trust God that something else will come along because it's hard to turn down money, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
As you noticed, we started out
Absolutely.
talking about it. That's the whole point of
Absolutely.
working, isn't it?
Right.
So, but yeah, it has. But I've also been super blessed to work on some really neat things. Butch's shows. are all family friendly. Let's just say that. I care about family friendly stuff.
That's great.
I've done, but you can hear me at Guardians of the Galaxy in Florida if you've ever been there. Have you ever been to Disney World?
Been to Disneyland twice in California.
So I'm the voice of World Mine in the Guardians of the Galaxy Galaxarium queue. What else? What was I gonna say? Oh, and I got to do this thing called Truth Traveler. That's an exhibit in Pigeon Forge and in Branson, Missouri. I'm hoping to see next year. I haven't seen it because it's far away.
Right.
So, I've done voices for rides and things in different countries.
Yeah.
So, that's the thing that's so cool about voiceover. You never know what you're gonna do.
Yeah, there's a lot of variety there. So I know like evolving is also like central to the industry. Like you mentioned before, they didn't want to hire kids. Now they're hiring kids. So you have to expand your tool set.
Now I
So
have to coach kids.
Now you gotta
Coach my
coach.
competition.
Now you gotta coach them.
Yeah. I mean, I've written a couple books that are out there. One's called Adventures in Oddity that I did with my buddy. We have a show also like you, a podcast type show, sort of a variety show called Tell Ya Later, TELLYA later. It's
Yeah.
Patreon supported, but it's also on YouTube.
Okay.
So some things you just do for fun. You know, how else do we? You gotta, pivot, and I feel like kind of at my age, it's sort of my duty to help younger people learn and teach them what I've learned for what it's worth.
Yeah. That's nice. I mean, just as a musician, I've always enjoyed teaching. I started playing drums at 14 and I started teaching at 18. And I didn't know, that's a tough thing. When are you ready? When do you know you're ready to teach? For
Mm.
me, it was the moment when my drum teacher said, "Hey, I've got this kid. He can't come to me anymore. Will you do a house call lesson with him?" He was like a
Yeah.
12-year-old kid. And I was like, "I don't know." I said, "Yeah, I've only been playing for 4 years." And he said, "No, I think you'll do good. I think you'll, be able to handle it." And so, I went kind of reluctantly, but it all worked out. And I've
Well,
been
the same
teaching
with
ever
me.
since.
Yeah, like people asked, and I thought, well, first of all, I thought, I'm not going to say anything any different from any other voiceover teacher. There's
Yeah,
basics. The truth is the truth, but I did discover that we all say the same thing, but in a different way. So something's going to resonate for some people when I say it that they won't get if someone else says it. And then, like with your drumming example, you've only been drumming 4 years, but that kid hasn't been drumming at all.
that's right.
So you are going to know. I thought, oh, what could I teach? And then it hit me. Well, I've been doing this 30 years and they're just getting in the business. Maybe I do have something.
Maybe,
At least I can share what
maybe I
I
have
know.
one thing. Maybe
And
I have at least
I
one
thought,
thing.
I don't want them to to think if they take a class with me, they're going to have a career in voiceover. And I also had to accept, hey, that's an unreasonable expectation to put on myself or for them. We all take classes and glean what we can and apply it in our lives. And there's so many variables. So I'm just one variable. And hopefully, I'll teach somebody something and they'll learn a little something and maybe get coaching from someone else and learn from them too.
So,
I
like,
mean,
what would you
it's
say is like
tough.
the fundamentals of a good voice actor, and then what is the spice that really makes good go to great?
Fundamentals are creating a character. What I tell people is it's not about creating a voice. It's about being a believable character. And our ears are
Okay.
lie detectors. You know if you believe somebody or not. We also know if we believe ourselves. So I say if you feel it here, the audience will hear it
Yeah.
here. And then to be that tastes vary, but I think having perseverance, liking what you're doing, don't do it just for the money. You have to have fun. If it isn't
Yeah.
fun, go find something you like to do. You know? Like, I've been doing this for so long. Could be on my deathbed and someone would put a script in front of me and I'd perk up and start reading it because it's just kind of in my DNA
It's what you
anymore.
do. It's just what you
You
do.
know, you have to, and being a good voice actor is first and foremost being a good listener. What you need to take in information, you gotta hear. When you have you're a good listener, you get ideas of how to create those characters. Yeah, that's what I think is some of the things you need to be good at. Taking direction, listening. You have got to listen there to take direction.
So, would you say if someone's starting out, what would you recommend that they get a coach? Would you recommend that they get lessons, or do you think it's feasible to just kind of dive right in?
No, I think it's dumb. I think what I do recommend is going to a voiceover conference.
Hmm.
There's several now, so you
Okay.
get a whole bunch of information in a weekend. So you can kind of get an idea of where the business is at, what you
Right.
need for your home studio, blah blah blah. You get introduced to people who help make demos because you're going to have a demo to get an agent. Not everybody has an agent. Some people get work on pay to play sites, but you still have to put something on those sites for people to hear if they like your voice or not and want to give you an audition.
Right.
So it sounds like a catch-22, but it's just a process. I believe in taking group classes because we learn a lot from listening to others, and you take in information that way. One-on-one coaching if you want to work on something specific or you've met someone who you think you just want to work with and learn from. But I really think that the voiceover conferences, VO Atlanta, MAVO, which is coming up, Mid-Atlantic Voiceover. That's voiceover. That's in LA. There's One Voice conference in Dallas. So, you go and you spend the money to find out, is this for me? Let me hear from people who are working in the business. Is this so I get a better understanding of what's necessary?
So ultimately they have options. They could go in one direction, like they can go in terms of animated, or they could go maybe towards,
Well, say anime, you've got to have the skill of dubbing. It's not, memorizing. I meet people who've got like entire shows memorized. I'm like, that's swell,
wow.
but that's not the job.
That's not the job. Yeah.
The job is watching it on screen and watching the words go by and reading it and matching the lips and acting it out all at the same time. You got to learn how to do that.
So for somebody just getting started, would you recommend that they have like one really strong character versus three like, above average or
Okay,
mediocre
Kevin,
characters?
stop saying that. No, every new script is a new character. You just you embody it as you go along. I mean, you should have 5 distinct voices in your wheelhouse.
Okay.
All right, can you play a father, maybe a grandfather, a villain, alien, whatever. 5 characters that you can kind of use as your basis. But it's not like this character is going to do many different parts. They have to morph into whatever the character description is, whatever the situation is. Because it's up to us as voice actors to create believability of where we are and what's happening and how we're relating to the other characters in the script and how we feel about ourselves. And then when you're doing original animation, that gives the animators something to draw.
Yeah.
Because we record first. They draw second.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't mean to jump on you about that, but if you had one character that you did well, how versatile is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not really.
That's not the point of. But, however, and because there's always exceptions, right? I mean, if you're Samuel Jackson and they say, we want Samuel Jackson and we want him to sound like Samuel Jackson, then Samuel Jackson has a job, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there are a lot of things because this is a money business. It's a matter of economics. If there's some influencer out there with 90 million followers, do not think that someone doesn't want them to be in their cartoon because they're going to
Yeah.
bring an audience.
Oh,
And if
yeah.
that's their voice, they're going to create a character with them in mind. So it's
Ah.
two different ways of approaching the business. If you're already famous or, particularly quirky,
Yeah.
Gilbert Gottfried, for example.
Okay.
Have you ever heard him do anything different?
I can't say that I have.
So someone said, hey, you'd make a great Iago. Okay, great. We want him in our pizza commercial. Okay, that's what he sounds like. He's
Right.
identifiable. People relate. So see, there's two different ways of being cast for things.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the tech industry in that, okay, there's different ways to enter. You could be really good at one language and you get the job, but you can also, I guess, kind of be a jack of all trades and get it that way. So I guess it's just all about making what you have work for you.
Yeah. I mean, so if you have audiobook narrators don't have to change their voices too much. They're good storytellers, right? Announcers. I have friends who've announced the Grammys or the Academy Awards live. Well, that's their voice in
Yeah.
announcer mode.
Right.
Is this an industry that somebody would be able to do this like part time? Let's just say they have a primary job. Would they be, the average person be able to get good enough to get some kind of job doing this part time?
Oh, yeah. I think so. Yeah. I met people who've retired from jobs, and so they have the
Yeah.
freedom to explore and learn and, hopefully get some work. And, it's not going to be life or death to them
Right.
if they're not making $100,000 a year.
So I know like the industry looks a lot different than it used to. So like what are the emerging trends that you're seeing, and how should somebody who wants to get into the industry, how should they like prepare for what's coming down the
The
pipeline?
emerging trend, which has been emerging, is not what I do because I create different characters. The emerging
Yeah.
trend is being authentic, being you.
Or AI, right?
Well, that's nothing we can control. But, if it's you authentically, if you're reading about tacos and it's exciting, then we hear Brian getting excited reading about tacos. If he's talking about life support systems, it will be
All right.
Brian talking how he would address
Right.
that. And if they but they don't really want people in general, the trend is not putting on voices. Every once in a while,
Yeah.
they want
Ah.
something real big and funny and, but not yeah, even in cartoons, there's a lot of dramatic cartoons. There's a lot of scripted podcasts out there. And so it's just being an actor. If you were an actor on stage, you could probably put on accents or something if it was called for, but they're just looking for you.
Right.
Yeah, I have like noticed like, like even on the radio back in the day, they had the big radio voice, like it's really distinct, but now it's just kind of like two guys talking
Yeah.
in a living room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because your generation says, I don't want you to sell me anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
And-
tell me about it. If you like it, maybe I'll like it. So that's what you have to feel, that you like what you're talking about, that you believe in what you're talking about. But you don't But if you try to sell me, if I say, I really love my Tinkerbell watch because it's not very expensive, and I like Tinkerbell, and I always wanted a silver band. So that's why I chose this Tinkerbell watch, and it's so affordable. I actually bought like 5 of them and have them in my drawer. So if this one breaks, I can get another one. Did you believe me? It's true, right? But if I said, everyone should get a Tinkerbell watch because they're inexpensive and you're going to love it too. You can hear the difference in
Oh,
the
yeah.
approach.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so we don't do that anymore. It's not Hot Wheels. Blah, blah,
Right.
It's different.
I think
So,
when the
you already know the trends. If all you have to do is listen to the radio or watch TV. The
Yeah.
research is pretty obvious and simple.
because I think like back in the day, we all used to go outside and hang with each other and mingle with each other. So us listening to the radio, this is our opportunity to hear something different. Whereas now everybody's in front of technology all day, so they want the what they would normally get by meeting people, like going outside. They want that, I guess, living room experience. So
Right. Well, that's a great way of putting it. I mean, I think one of the industry terms might be peer to peer.
Mm.
It's peer to peer. Why do you like those drumsticks? I like these drumsticks because I like them. They're
It's more
lightweight.
like,
They're
hey,
lightweight. They fit my hands, and I like the way they hit the rim.
yeah, I like the way
That's
they
all you
feel,
need to hear. If you're
like
a
the way they
drummer,
feel, like the way they sound.
yeah.
Just,
But
be
then you've got to
yourself.
be
Yeah.
able to interpret the copy that you didn't write to make
Right.
it sound like it's coming from you, and that's the skill set.
Okay.
So yeah, we've been hearing that term authenticity a lot from people in the entertainment business. Like, do you kind of feel like, okay, somebody just playing them, quote unquote, is kind of sucking a lot of the fun out of the industry? Like, you're not able to be as dramatic or have as much variety, or is it just
Yeah.
different?
Well, seriously, if they said, "Hey, we need a grandma to read this copy." And I love to take my grandkids to Disneyland because it's lots of fun and I live near the park. I mean that. That's true. And I am a grandma. But if you hear my voice, you're not going to buy that I'm a grandma.
Right.
I can't change that.
I
So
I see what you mean.
I can authentically say something, but I might not authentically sound like what people imagine a grandma's gonna sound like. So I'm in a little different space. Character voice actors are a type unto themselves, and some have great normal voices, and they can do other things. Me personally, I think I'm a little limited.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like sounded believable to the genre that you're in is like important. So I get that. Um, So, like going forward, like what are some genres that you would like to explore that you haven't really been able to touch too much?
I just like to get a commercial. A national commercial would be wonderful.
Must pay well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, eh, I've done just about everything, honestly. Um, and I like the variety. But, yeah, it would be great to get a I did, you probably even saw it. I did a Pepsi commercial that was running in the Regal theaters, a few years ago. Uh, it's on my website. I can't think
Okay.
of, uh yeah, Pepsi Zero, now better than ever. I did, that
That
was
kind of
kind of
thing.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
That's
that's
awesome.
nice because it's not too strenuous, and,
How would you get a role like, Simba in Lion King or his
audition.
dad,
You audition.
Mufasa? Yeah.
It comes through your agent. Something big
Okay.
like that, you have to have an agent for,
Okay.
generally, unless they want something so specific, like, "We need an someone from Tanzania to d" so now they're looking for anybody from, and if you fit the bill, they're very specific, but that kinda stuff comes through agents and usually audition, and, honestly, I'm going to tell you another sad truth. A lot of times, let's say I booked it.
Yeah.
They might use my voice as a scratch track while they're trying to hire Selena Gomez to
Oh,
play the same
wow.
role. So, you can't think too highly of yourself. You just have to be thankful for the work, right? You're happy
Right.
when you get a gig, when you get a new student. I don't know what you do, Kevin. Kevin, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm a software engineer.
I was gonna say you sound like an IT guy, so
Yeah,
you're probably not freelance.
yeah,
Yeah, so you've got your steady work, but when you're a gig player, you'll do whatever, and it's okay. And sometimes you get left in the movie. Sometimes you do. A lot of times, but don't be surprised if they're just waiting for some big celebrity to sign on to the project while they're busy animating it.
Right.
You don't know. It's business.
yeah. I think that's the unfortunate reality of any creative business is that it comes down to the money. So things might not go how you expect it to go.
Right. Well, it's funny. It's not the yeah, it's a lot of factors, right? Because they're going to pay Selena Gomez a heck of a lot more money than they're going to pay a regular voice actor, but
Oh,
they're
yeah.
they're banking on them bringing people to the theater,
Yeah.
right?
And I think it can be unfortunate that somebody who's been doing voice acting their whole life, they might be better, but they're gonna hire the star because that star brings in more money. So
Right.
Yeah.
I guess that's
True
just
dat. True dat, as they say. Yeah. But that's why you can't go into this business hoping you're going to be famous. If you like the work, go for it. You want to understand. I mean, you didn't get into IT and not go to school for it, right? You had to learn, I imagine,
yeah,
somewhere to
yeah.
get
I'm self
started.
taught. Yeah,
Well, are you self-taught?
yeah. Because my actual degree's in accounting. So
Oh my goodness. Well,
Yeah. Kevin switched it up.
yeah.
that can happen too.
Yeah.
I'm not a trained actor, so
Oh wow.
I just
Okay.
got lucky. I'm watching people on the job, seeing copying them.
Yeah.
There's nothing new under the sun. If you and I both imitate a certain character, let's say we both decide we want to sound like Urkel. Well, your version is not going to be the same as mine, and nobody necessarily knows that that's who you're copying. You're
Right.
just using that as an idea for a character. They say if you're going to go on voiceover, do a really good imitation of somebody nobody knows or a poor imitation of someone everybody knows. You come up with a character that way.
That's it. Like a Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the things about getting too successful at one particular role is that you can be typecast. Like, have you ever been pushed into like certain kind of roles just because like you have a very distinctive voice?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people just thought all I could do is kids. I mean, I can
Yeah.
lower my voice and I can sound like an adult for things
Right.
if I need to, but people didn't see me that way. So what can you do? Hit
Is
them on
it?
the head? Yeah, that happens. That happens because the other thing is the joy of having worked on so many things that I did during the 80s and 90s was a result of a small pool of talent. Well, at some point they said, "We're tired of these same actors. We want to open the doors and have new actors." And you can't blame them.
Exactly. So you've had like a long and successful career. Like, did you leave the legacy that you wanted to leave? And is there like anything else left to accomplish that? Any messages that you want to send?
No, I'm very thankful that I've had the opportunity to do the things that when people think of them makes them smile,
Yeah.
remember their childhood. I got to play Han Solo as a kid in the Padawan Menace. I don't know if you saw that. It was a Cartoon Network special. I mean, that's so
Oh wow.
cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm good to go.
Yeah,
Right.
that's amazing that you're able to look back on your career and just be happy because not everybody can say that.
Yeah, I think that's true. I am very thankful.
In a key piece, I think you had mentioned, you have to be authentic. You have to be yourself, if because people will know when you're lying. People will know when you're not really being straightforward, even if it's just voice.
Yeah, yeah. It's it's funny. I've done a lot of boy voices in my career. And there was this TV series called North and South back in the day when we would actually go places and meet people to audition. And I didn't know who anybody was, but I actually went to the producer's office, and I don't have no idea what his name was, and I was supposed to audition for this role.
Yeah.
I think it was for dubbing a character, right?
Okay.
And I said, "Turn your chair around." And he's like, "Who's she?" I'm like, probably in my 20s. I said, "Turn your chair around. I don't want you to look at me. If you look at me, you're going to see a girl. Just let me read it." And I got the part. But, our ears are unique. We want to. Anyway, that was a funny thing that happened. I thought it, and it worked in my favor because I just knew better.
So
Because our
someone,
mind wants to make sense of what we're hearing and seeing and to make it
right.
fit whatever we're looking at, right?
If someone's first getting into this, how would you recommend they find an agent? Or is it the other way around? An agent will find you when you're ready.
You know what? It could go both ways, but generally speaking, you get a demo. You submit it to an agent and
Okay.
see if they want you.
Okay. So you approach them.
But people go to shows, casting directors will go to shows, plays, all kinds of stuff looking for new talent. And if they like you and they want to use you for something, they'll make sure they get you an agent so that they can do it on the up and up.
Right.
So that's why you should do what you love what you do it well, and hopefully, if it's not a full-time job, you're still enjoying what you're doing.
Well, you've had a very impressive career.
Thank you. I'm impressed when I look at it.
See, there you go.
Anyway, I have this other career that's called making dinner for my husband. So I think I need to get on that right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're at the top of the hour. Before we get out of here, where can our audience find you? And did you want to leave them with any closing thoughts?
Oh, yeah. So my website, katieleigh.com or voiceofyourchildhood.com. I'll be in Tupelo, Tupelo. Where's Tupelo? Mississippi.
I think. Yeah.
In May at a Comic-Con, and if they follow me on my website, I'll be posting different places where I'm going. If they want to take classes or talk to me, find me on my website. Follow me on Instagram, Katie Leigh VO. Get my book, The Itty Bitty Book of Codependency. It's a nice little humorous bathroom book with
Nice title.
cartoons about codependency that I've published. It's on Amazon, or you can get an autographed copy from me through my website. Watch the Tell You Later show and become a patron, and you could win a Scrubulator. Every month we have a drawing. I crochet scrubbies, and someone wins a scrubby, which reminds me I have to send one out. We had a drawing.
So they're custom.
They're custom. They have their own little tags, handmade by Katie Leigh.
There we go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
So yeah.
It was a pleasure having you on.
Thanks. It was nice meeting both of you.
Absolutely. And definitely stay in touch.
Okie dokie.
For sure.
We'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next time.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Ciao.